Okay, hi, how are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. I'm so
Andrea.
sorry. I've never been here.
Neither have I. So I was just like, well, I think this might be okay.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw. Andrea, thank you for joining me. Nice to meet you. How about we talk a little bit about where we are right now? It's kind of dramatic and it's quite spectacular.
It is fantastic, actually, because the first time when I came to Hong Kong, I've never been here before, we were at the time living in Beijing, but I flew over here because my husband was working here, and we actually stayed at the hotel just here by the convention center.
Okay.
So, and I flew in, and the weather was exactly like this, and everything was grey. And my husband said, "Oh, it's such a pity because Hong Kong is so green. It's such a green city." And I was like, "Well, it's not. It looks totally grey." And it was this kind of weather for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I flew out. But then when I came back next time, it was really green. So
For sure. Okay, great. So have some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining me. I realize this is very... so right now we are outside. So in the background, somebody's listening is going to hear the helicopter and then the person watering the plants and there's construction and phones. And so it's we're surrounded by a very noisy space and who knows if this will work out. So it's an experiment.
Yeah.
It's an experiment. So, but I will say thank you very much for joining me.
thank you.
I have to say that your photographs are, it's great to have people's slices. And you're a photographer. And how would you describe yourself? As a commercial photographer or as an art photographer?
When I started out, I wanted to look at myself as an art photographer. Along the way, I had to work as well. So then I became a commercial photographer. But I've always had time and dreams to do my own projects. So actually moving here to Hong Kong has been fantastic for me because here I've been able to find time because the way we live our life here to work on my own projects, which is fantastic.
Okay, so for the first image, do you remember offhand what the title of this photo is?
Two dogs.
Two dogs. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of sepia black and white. There's a photograph of some kind of, I would assume it's in Hong Kong well, it's hard to know if that's traditional Chinese or simplified Chinese characters. But on the wall is a sign, so you can see a bit of Chinese. The image is of the entranceway, and there are these two, I'd call them chihuahuas, wearing very nice collars, I guess,
Yeah.
sitting behind the glass door, just kind of looking. And then behind them is a very elegant, stylish looking, is it a cafe? Is it a bookstore? What is it?
I actually think it's an architecture office.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it in Hong Kong?
It's in Hong Kong and is around the area where I live. I live in Saigon. So this is actually one of the picture, which is one of 100 picture that I actually right at this moment have an exhibition at the place called Sin Atelier.
Okay.
And I'm showing 14 framed picture out of 100. The rest are showed as a slideshow. And yeah.
This is one of the frames images?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Wow. And what is the theme of the show?
The theme of the show is I'm showing the daily life in Hong Kong. It actually started out almost a year ago when the virus broke out, and I actually even got more time because I remember in the beginning you were not supposed to go out in the streets a lot and try to avoid a lot of people. So what I did was that I started to do night walks, actually in the middle of the night. So and I gave myself the project 100 days. So I decided to take one picture and post on social media to look forward, because I was thinking after 100 days the virus must be gone, and everybody kept saying that, you know, when the summer comes the virus will be gone, you know, it's going to be warmer and blah blah blah, and yeah, and everybody knows that really didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. Here we are 368 days later, whatever. Yeah. So the photograph it might just be my laptop that we're looking at it on my laptop. So, but the sort of is it printed in this kind of sepia tone, or is it like it's a very warm black and white?
Yeah. So this kind of technique, this is done. I went back to what I learned and did in school. Mm-hmm. So this is a lit print. Okay. And everybody who knows, who has been working in the darkroom knows the technique. Mm. It's actually that you overexpose the paper and then you develop the picture in a very diluted developer. And it's a certain kind of paper and it's a certain kind of developer. So this is the way the image turns out, a little bit warm, yellowish. And then after that you can tone it, you can selenium tone it, so it becomes a little bit crispier and a little bit more magenta in the shadows. But Anton Corbijn, for example, he became really famous of doing this kind of technique with the pictures of U2 during Joshua Tree. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes I've used this word in the past, and I've definitely used it on the podcast and while describing images, is that it's a black and white that's practically delicious. Like, and it's an interesting, because you're shooting through a glass door, so there's the reflections. Basically, these two dogs. It's a happy accident where one of the dogs is looking at the photographer, you know, and it's almost like they're judging you. They're almost like looking at you like, yeah, who do you think you are?
Exactly. And you see that dog there is actually looking up at the man walking here.
Right.
He looks really big and scary. Uh-huh. And the dog looks really scared as well. It's so funny.
Yeah. So what has the reception been to your show? I mean, because in a way, as artists, we get inspired by what's happening in our lives and in our kind of immediate or in the culture and all this stuff. So what has the response been to your photographs?
It's been very good. I'm so thankful. The response has been so good, and I couldn't have asked for more. I mean, they've been writing about it in the Chinese media and on the social media, and I mean, I'm from Sweden, so the Swedish community and the Swedish chamber and the consulate, everybody has been writing so nice words. So I've been.
If you think about all of the positive comments and reviews, which one stood out that you thought was closest to your spirit, to your thinking, to your, you know what I mean, like where somebody said something, we said, okay, they really understood. That's hitting a nerve.
Yeah, in fact, it is. I've heard it a few times. I just couldn't say the name of the persons.
That's fine.
But when I tell them that my project has been that I've been out taking pictures every day for 100 days and have come up with this kind of result, they do understand that it's hard. It can be difficult to find a picture that is really valuable for what kind of project you have every day. Or you have to move around and you have to just be very in a good stage to actually see these pictures.
Sure.
Or I actually say that you're given the moments. Okay. And if you are in tune with yourself, you are actually able to see it.
Right.
And it's up to you in a second to catch it or not.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to the next photo. While we listen to the cappuccino being made. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.